Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Welcome to another piece of content in collaboration with all the other people taking part. By the way, there'll be a link to everybody's piece of content below. But as part of the EDC Cooperative group, what we do is we all share a piece of content with the same theme at the same time, so you can watch all of these. It's a great way for us to build a community of like-minded EDCers. So we're all releasing the content at the same time, so if you check the link below, or the links below in the description, you'll be able to see everybody's piece of content. And what we're here today to look at are the 5 things that I can't live without. And this one's been really hard, because really it's, what are the 5 things that you can't leave the house without? What are those 5 things that you always grab? Now, 2 of those things are a given, almost to the point where I start even maybe feeling like a little anxiety when I leave the house, knowing that I've forgotten one of these 2 items. So the first 2 items were very easy for me to add to the list. Item 3 and 4 I generally have always with me, and the 5th item, you know, I think it's important to me as well. But what I've also done is I've tried to steer clear of like a wallet and maybe my mobile phone. Generally, you know, if I'm going to the gym, I can leave without those. It's not an issue. Whereas some of these other things, you know, really are quite important to me. So what I'll do is I'll turn the camera. I'm not really going to turn the camera on, but I'm just going to roll the intro. But whilst I'm doing that, if at any point you do enjoy this content, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. That would mean an absolute amazing thing to me. And I'd also like to thank you at this point if you do choose to do that. But for now, let's get into the 5 things I can't live without. Now, the first 2 items really go back to growing up in the countryside, in the moorlands, and just going out on adventures when I was young. And I've done a lot of kind of thinking about and reflecting on the past over the last few years, and I understand a little bit more about why these 2 items I generally tend to leave a house with, because they were just the things that I always took with me when I was young. My mum would always insist that I'd take these 2 items with me. The first one is a watch. Now, I generally am at the point where if I leave the house and I'm not wearing a watch, I feel naked. I've almost got like a nervous tick. My wife hates it, but when I'm walking along, I'll flick my wrist just so that I know that it's on there. If it's not in the right position, I know it's not in the right position. So it's just a bit of a quirk that I've got, but I can't leave the house without a watch. At the moment, I'm wearing the Withings Scan watch. However, there are lots of other different types of watches that I do like to carry. This is one that I'm currently testing. I genuinely do really love this watch. It's become one of my favouriteest watches. It looks like a standard watch. It certainly doesn't look anything different from a normal analog watch, but with the crown, when you press the crown in, hopefully you'll be able to see there that there are some other smart functions that are in here, but it still feels like a normal day-to-day analog dress watch. On the back, you've got all of your heart rate sensors. This uses a very high quality medical grade sensor on the back, which again is really cool. Hopefully I'll have some content out on this soon. But this makes me feel like an adult. It's a very adulty style watch, which is a terrible thing to say. Well, that's not even a real thing. But outside of this, I certainly like the aesthetics of the G-Shock style watches. So my 2 favourite G-Shocks at the moment, there is the GAB 2100, there is the G2000, and I absolutely love these watches. I'm a bit of a fan of that kind of analog digital style combination, although some watches have 1,001 different features on them. It's very rare that I use some of those features. I like something that I can quickly and easily look down on my wrist and be able to tell the time. For outdoors, just kind of getting out, I think this one really can't be beat. It's such a beautiful watch. Then there's also the GAB 2100, which is the kind of the upgrade to the GA 2100, which really was just such a popular watch over the last 4 or 5 years. This was the upgrade, so that they added the tough solar to it, and then I've also upgraded the strap myself, which really wasn't particularly difficult to do. But on a similar theme, so this is the T-Rex 2 from Amazfit. Recently did one on some content on this as well. Again, it has that rugged kind of look and feel to it. It looks very similar to a G-Shock, but also has a lot more features in there as far as what you expect from modern smartwatches, also with the heart rate sensor on the back as well. But I'm not just about outdoors watches. Oh, sorry, just grab these. Also have my Casio Marlin. This was one of the original ones when it still had the Marlin on there. Again, I just like Casio watches. I think if you did like a Venn diagram of value for money and durability, the Casio watches, whether they're G-Shocks or you know, nicer dress watches like these, they'd all sit perfectly in the middle where those two lines crossed. Also, I do really like these old-fashioned field watch style watches. Again, I think it just comes down to the simplicity of them. You know, you look at them, you can tell the time, you know exactly what you're doing, and then you can move on. There's nothing over-complicating the screen on these. This is the Timex Scout. I think it's the Timex Scout. Actually, I think it's the Timex Expedition Scout, but I think most people refer to this as the Scout. There is a newer version of this that has a sapphire crystal display and some really other nice features on there, so I am going to upgrade this soon and bring you some more content on that. Now the second one was just as easy as the first one, and again it all stems back from living in the countryside as a young man, just going out having adventures, but I'd always make sure that no matter where I went with a bag. And so the one thing, the second one thing that I can't live without is a bag. I take a bag with me everywhere I go, unless, and you know what I'm thinking about it, I was just about to say when I go to the gym, but randomly, so I've got skipping rope and boxing gloves which I put in my bag, so I always have a bag, even if it's a case of walking to the shop to pick up some milk. I always make sure, as a responsible dad, I always come home with the milk. To just walks with the dogs, I put poo bags in them. There's certain items that I keep within my bags to make sure that they're always with me. My bags of choice at the moment, reviewed this a few months back. This is the GoRuck Rucker 4.0. I absolutely love this bag. Not only is it just, you know, ridiculously comfy, and it's absolutely bomber. I think this bag is the type of bag that you can pass down to your kids. It's a perfect size of 25 litres. In fact, all of my kit's in here from when I went into the studio where I work yesterday. I can fit my 16-inch laptop inside this, although it's not designed as an EDC style bag. The rocking plate holders in the back of this are just the right size that I can fit my 16-inch laptop into those sleeves, and I think they are possibly the most protected laptop that you can have, because yeah, I made some content on this. I'll leave a link to this. But generally when I'm not going into the office, I generally tend to keep a satchel with me. I find a satchel is just the perfect style of bag just to be able to grab, to throw on, although I've never thrown it on like that before. That was a stupid thing to do. But yeah, just to put on, throw on, get out the house, do what I need to do. There's always poo bags in here. There's always different things in here that I just kind of take along with me. But without my bag, again, I just feel a little naked, just a little feel kind of unprepared. I think being an adult and a father, generally tend to go somewhere and the kids are like, oh dad, it's hot, can you carry this? And I'll end up carrying a coat, or I don't know, I like to just feel prepared that if I nip to somewhere and go to the shop, instead of trying to carry it in one of those stupid little plastic bags, I can fit it in this bag. Now the bag that I have here is, I think if I did a top 10 of bags purely on the amount that they are carried by me, the Helicon Tex Bushcraft satchel would sit right at the top, number one. It's just a great bag. I use this bag since I've had this more than I have any other bag. It's a perfect grab and go size. Yes, it's kind of designed as a bushcraft satchel, but you really can use this for EDC every single day. It's got a nice big opening on the front for quick access stuff, and then on the inside a large dump pocket that you can just throw everything into. One of the other beauties is on the front, on the inside in here, and on the back on the inside on here, depending on which way I suppose you're carrying it, there's two large cylindrical pockets that you can put additional things into as well, which is probably one of the main reasons, having tested out a few other satchel style bags, that I keep coming back to the Helicon Tex Bushcraft satchel. It's a very simple bag. I think one of the things that I've started to do as I get older is just try to simplify things, but also ensure that they are multifunctional. So yeah, this is an absolutely amazing bag. I made some content on this as well, you know, I'll leave a link up there as well. They're the first two. They are possibly the most important. Now moving on from there are some other things that I do keep inside this bag. Now they do transplant between different bags, and sometimes if I'm taking another smaller bag with me, I tend to carry also the EDC, the East Pack, the one bag, which is a great little bag. My daughters have used it, so I don't know where it is. They'll be getting the back of my hand. They won't be getting the back of my hand. I don't abuse my daughters, just kidding. Anyway, but these are other items that will fit into that bag. So the first one, or at least I suppose this will be number 3. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to say, so both of these bags that we've seen today are 100% tactical teddy bear compliant. So we then have my little ouchie boo boo scratchy first aid kit. This was sent to me by a viewer, and since I've had it, it's gone everywhere with me because it's always in one of my bags. And then if I change to another bag, I'll just quickly grab it and just make sure that this is thrown in here. It is a bumps and scrapes style IFAK, if you'd call it an IFAK. It really isn't up to that kind of level of complexity, but it's nice and simple. So it opens like a little clamshell like that, and then on this side there is a small pocket or a large pocket, and then on this side there are 2 smaller pockets. The main things that I've got in here are things like swabs, plasters, sterile wipes, all of that sort of stuff that if needed, my daughters fall over, or even just a random kind of bypasser, I always try to stop and help people if I can. But there's just enough little bits in here to help with little incidences, so certainly something that you wouldn't need to phone an ambulance for, at least. Some of the most important things, so like little hay fever, allergy kind of tablets, but also unfortunately, you know, I have to keep my antidepressants in here if I go to work and I haven't took them. You've probably seen me a few times in the bloopers on here where I've been out and I've forgotten to take my antidepressants before I went out, and they absolutely mash my head when I've not took them. They're great, but anyway, so I have to keep certain pieces of medication in here as well, just in case I have gone to work or gone out for a walk and I've forgotten to take something and I feel those symptoms coming on. I can take these and then try to kind of weather the storm. So that's number 3. Number 4 is my little tech kit. So I have tried a few larger tech pack style things, and they're all great, they really are, but I was walking around IKEA one day and I saw these little ripstop pouches and got one. I think they were 99p or £2, really weren't much at all. And and yeah, these haven't left my bag. So these are another thing, like my small medical kit here, that if whether I'm going into the office, whether I'm going for a walk, even going for a walk, I take this little tech pouch with me, because of the things that are in here aren't always necessarily things for a tech office kind of environment. Now, I must admit, I do feel kind of like I'm cheating ever so slightly with this, because some of the other items that you might assume that I would probably leave without, or at least couldn't leave without, are in here. But with this being my little tech kit, it's the one thing that whenever I grab a bag, I will swap from one bag into another. This does go with me pretty much everywhere, whether it is into the office or whether it's even just for a walk in the countryside. There's certain things in here that aren't necessarily tech orientated, but generally it is my little tech kit. So zip it open, and straight away you can probably start to see some of the techie style things. So in here there are lots of different cables. I certainly won't take them all out, but I've got USB, I've got micro USB, I've got USB type C as well, just in case, and I've got several of each. Again, you know, having kids, there's always, Dad, I forgot my cable, can I have a cable, kind of thing. Also have one of these small little anchor chargers in there as well. This is a 30, oh no, this is the 20 watt. So this is the PowerPort 3 20 watt, but you can also get a 30. I think you can get a 45 and a 60 version of these as well. Super small, super compact, and yeah, you can just throw them in here. Additionally, because you know I'm lucky enough that I do get to travel with work, if I know that I'm going to be traveling, then I'll make sure I'll put some worldwide adapters in there as well. Generally, there's always a couple of pens just in case I need to do some writing. Again, it's just useful to have a pen with you wherever you are. One of the things that I really do take everywhere with me, and this was something that I had toyed with, whether of just using these as a standalone, but these are Ranger bands. I made some content on these as well, but everywhere I go I take Ranger bands with me. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, isn't that just an inner tube from a tyre? And yes, it certainly is. But here's a cracking example. So I have my wired headset, put them into here, and then I don't have to worry about my wires getting everywhere. But what I'll always have in here as well, where are they? So these are my one shear extreme medical shears, and if I need to cut myself some more, then what I'll do is, so in here, hopefully you can see, I've got some that are cut maybe 2-3 inches, and then I'll do a few of those and push them into each other. So if there's something new and I think, right, I need to make myself a little Ranger band for this, then I'll just cut one to the shape that I need, mainly because I always have scissors with me, but luckily because I always keep some in this pack, then I've always got some. And there I have a new little Ranger band that I can use for whatever it is that I need to keep covered or keep organized. Then in here there are some more cables, some more cables, some more cables, and also something that I find really useful as well is just one of these old-fashioned haberdashery tapes. Always find having something that I can do some measurements. It's nice to have some sort of retractable one, but I know, they're a bit heavy, they're a bit clunky, and sometimes they just break, whereas a haberdashery piece of tape like this with inches, millimeters on there, and then with the help of a Ranger band, I told you I'd take these, oh no, I put it in the wrong way around, I told you to take these everywhere with me, but with a Ranger band then I can have this in my bag, and then whenever I need to I can just quickly take something out, take a quick measurement, pop it back in my bag, and then yeah, I'm done. But the vast majority, well, in fact all of that, I can fit within this small little EDC pouch, yeah, that I picked up from IKEA. Yeah, there you go, it says it on the end there. Now the last one is something that I really struggled with, because I was really trying to steer clear of certain items like my phone or my wallet, but I was trying to get back to certain ideas of keeping things simple and something that I always leave the house with. And generally when I leave the house I either need to lock the door or I need to make sure that I've got my car keys with me. But rather than just putting it under the category of keys, because I think pretty much everybody leaves the house with some keys, Really, it comes down to minimal organization of the keys. I don't think, hopefully this isn't a sexist thing to say, because this is totally 100% anecdotal, this is a real thing. When my wife grabs her keys, it's like she's a prison guard. There's probably about a dozen different keys on there, a dozen different key rings that have sentimental value and say, yeah, be the strong girl boss and all this sort of stuff. And I mean, that's great, they've all got sentimental value to her, but when she grabs it, it's like lifting up an old fishing net out of the sea. It just seems to never end. And then there's times where she'll be like, oh, let's take my car, and I'm like, no, we've got to take your keys. Great. Hence the reason why I like to take a bag with me as well, because I need a large bag just to carry all of her keys. But anyway, so for me, I like to strip back my keys, so my 5th out of 5 is some sort of key organization. So in an increased effort just to be able to reduce down and minimalize certain items, I certainly do this with my wallet as well, but I don't always leave the house with a wallet, even though, you know, that does sound a bit daft. So these key organizers are absolutely amazing. This one here, this is the key loop from Distill Union, but I've also tried the Orbit key. I've tried one from Smart Key. One of my favorites is one from a UK company called Attenuo as well. That's another great one. But what I always do is I always try to find ones where it's very easy to be able to separate my house keys from my car keys. So when I go for a run in the morning, I hate the fact that I have to take a lot with me. Yes, I am that Spartan runner, but no, yeah, I generally do. It just annoys me. So I generally look for keys where it's easier to be able to separate the two, and the way that these work is there are magnets within here, nice strong rare earth magnets in this really nice leather loop. So if I want to take my car key off with it, I can leave these at home, I can just take my car key with me, and then I can go for a run. But that's one of the things generally I certainly like to look for, is the ease of which you can take the two apart. Again, you know, let's say you did just want to go out and you just wanted to take your house key with you, then you can separate all of your keys because they're all on these little magnetic fobs. Again, you can just drop that back in, or actually, you know, I want to put my car key back in, there's my house key on top of that, and there you have it, everything nice and simple in a small easy package. And I think getting back to that excess, wow, probably way too much on my wife's keys. It really does kind of grind on me, the amount that's on there. And the beauty of this, and I forgot that this is in here until I was just taking it apart and fiddling with it then. So hopefully I'll try and get a closer look at this. But they have got a little quote on the inside here, and it's a quote from Bruce Lee. And it says, I'm just trying to read this, so it says, "It is not a daily increase, but daily decrease. Hack away at the unessential." That is a masterpiece from a master, putting that in here. Yeah, thoroughly enjoy carrying these. You should really think more about just looking at your essentials and trying to remove the things that aren't essential. So there you have it, the 5 things that I can't live without: a watch, a bag, my first aid, my little mini first aid kit, my tech pouch, and some sort of key organization, rather than carrying around a huge ball of keys and key rings. They're my selection. The first 2 were super easy. The second 2, you know, I had to think about a little bit more. The 5th one I struggled with. There was a few other things that I was thinking of putting in there as well, because I'm an EDC kind of guy. You'd have thought that there'd be maybe a knife in there. But yeah, they're my 5 things I can't live without. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, so this piece of content will be going live today. I mean, you're watching it today, but at the time that this went live, there are several other pieces of content that have also gone live from the rest of the people that are taking part as part of the EDC collaboration group. Now, I will leave a link to all of those in the description below, so now that you're getting to the end, and if you've got to the end of this, I certainly appreciate you getting to the end, but you'll be able to see all of those in the description below, and you can have a look through. And then once you've watched them all, please feel free to, you know, put in the comments which ones you like and which ones you like the most. And it's the whole idea around this EDC collaborative group really was about helping to build community, and especially that cross-channel community, so that we can all see more, we can all talk more, we can all interact more. So yeah, so when you've finished, check them all out. All of their links are in the description below, and yeah, make sure you leave a comment on everybody's, and maybe if there's something that you change, or maybe if there's something that you're going to start doing as well, then yeah, that would be awesome. I'll leave, if there's anything in here that I've got some links for, I will leave those below as well. I'll also leave some of my social media links. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content today, and for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. You can see everybody's pieces of content to see exactly how we've done it. And the theme for today's piece of content is 5 things I can't live without. And it's been tough. I thought the original one that we did a few months back was tough. You're going to do my nutting. It's going to have to do. I have to start again. I've also tried something from Smart Keys. One of my favourite ones was also one from shitty bollocks. Who's it from? Tenio. There you go. With the rest of the people that are taking part as members of the EDC Collaborative group. Am I in focus? Yes, damn it. Why are you being annoying? I worry so much about making sure that the speaker's on. I want to make it right. I want to make it right for you guys. Because you guys are the ones that count. No? Don't want to see that?